Yo, this is another video talking about batteries. Okay, so when I did Harvest Solar stuff, we literally worked on a bunch of bunkers and shit. Like, I know where there's a couple houses that, I mean, we went 60 foot in the ground, and they're in Tulsa. We went 60 foot in the ground and then expanded from there. Do you know how long it takes to pull 5-gallon bucket at a time dirt out of a 60 foot deep hole to create a 3-bedroom apartment? Because that's pretty much what we did. And yeah, it was a there's a learning curve for sure. You want your pulley and rope system? Go back and look at There Will Be Blood, especially in the beginning, where that dude's down there in the hole, that thing falls out and hits him in the face or whatever like that. You want to avoid that. Be a little more OSHA conscious and like move over to the side when your stuff's coming up or down. Either way, move over. Pro tip: move over. Because stuff falls down the hole. Anyways, okay, so you got your apparatus. Okay, we started out in a bedroom and we did a miniature A-frame deal and pulley system. Okay, the pulley system was just, guy with a rope and then a block and tackle on the bucket. The bucket was not a 5-gallon bucket. The bucket was an actual metal bucket that we created. Started off with a metal bucket. We made the handle and everything else like that so that we could drop down and come up, drop down and come up. And then later on, we were really tired of it. So then we put a block and tackle deal on there and crane. So we were winching it up and down, basically. And then the A-frame had an I-beam, and we hung it on the deal with the little rollers so we could move it over side to side, and then it actually was going up and down. Now, to develop that apparatus was about $1,600 of, a couple days rednecking and, get the parts, then walk through the front door of this guy's house, put it together in the bedroom, in his spare bedroom, and then just make a hole, and then continue to make a hole, and then continue to make a hole, and spread the whole thing out, right? So it looked like 8 dudes for a while working on it, right? And then we had to, make, anyways, we put more money into the solar. Well, while we were doing this, we did several of them, right? And I noticed, I said to myself, man, I think we're better off, because we started going back and changing. These batteries were square, and they were about 3 foot long, heavy, real heavy. And you had a battery box, and there's like 16 of them, right? So you had to try to pull that thing, just to change one battery was a huge pain in the ass. And I knew right then, I was like, man, if I get some property and start doing this, I'm going to put my battery money into my production. So instead of doing more battery, do your lights and everything like that have battery for nighttime, I'm going to hook to the grid. I'm going to use the grid at night, and I'm going to produce more than I use during the day, sell the electric back to the grid to offset my usage. That was my plan back then. And then they passed some kind of law, some bullshit about cost of infrastructure. They don't have to pay you for what you put into the system. And then you're still paying for it at night, right? So then come up batteries or whatever. Good man was talking about he's going to have to buy some batteries. Does he wait for them to go kaput and then buy batteries, or should he buy them now? Because, you never know when shit's going to hit the fan. So, you don't want to be without. You wouldn't be prepared. Like literally being prepared means that you're, not doing without. So, I brought up water batteries. Okay, now what a water battery is the ability to, during the daytime, you pump the water up to elevation, and then at nighttime, you let the water flow back down the same or different pipe and run it through a turbine, let the water flow across the impeller, thus moving the propeller, and then you just put a V-belt on the propeller going to an alternator, and then you've got 12 volt right there. And then if your nighttime appliances are 12 volt, then you're good to go because you're making 12 volt, you know what I mean? So even then you probably would want like one 12 volt battery, like a deep cycle for a boat, you know what I mean? And that's going to last you a while and quit or whatever else like that. But the ability to generate, you know what I mean? And then if you can regulate your generation where, you know, you're charging this battery up during the day and you're putting a draw on it, you're not drawing it down all the way down. When it gets to a certain level, you just according to the flow, let the water flow. That turns the alternator to recharge the battery. So, you know, you can run the math on that. How many gallons do I need to run? And then that ties in with your, put your house halfway up the hill. You always want your house halfway up the hill. You don't want to be flooded out down at the bottom. You don't want the tornado at the top. However, if you do have a way to hold fresh water at the top of the hill, and this can flow back down, you know, now you've just created your, you know, encapsulated creek, right? So you're pumping your water, you're filtering it, it's going into this system, whatever degree. Your filtered rocks and everything is getting the right kind of mineral that you want to be able to drink. And now your battery system is also your backup water system, right? And then if your holding area at the top of the hill and your holding area at the bottom of the hill or at your house, maybe it's just flowing past your house on the way, you know, to generate this electric that you're using to whatever, charge your battery at night. You know, you can do this to a certain scale that works out, right? Okay, this is going to take a substantial amount of water to be able to do this. So if you catch, filter, pump to the top, flow it back, run it through the turbine turns the alternator charges the battery, and then you catch the water on the other end too. Now all it did was just flow down through there. So if you do stainless, you know, internals and stuff, you're probably good to go. Okay, now if you will make sure that that turbo and that alternator also fits your 5.9 liter Cummins engine for your Apocalypse rig, now inside your Faraday cage, you can put 6, 7 alternators in there. Now you can fix the truck if the truck needs fixing, and you can fix the generator if the generator needs fixing. You know, you're doing a water battery, so that's extra water storage capacity at the same time. And I have not done this, so I do not know what I don't know about doing this, but I suspected a genuine tweaker or just an average redneck could definitely figure it out. You know what I mean? Yeah, but if I could have a literal steak dinner cooked on a grill in prison, I'm pretty sure you can figure this part out. You know, and for the record, the most steak I ever ate in my life was when I was in prison for 2 years out in Beaver, Oklahoma. Because, you know, God's awesome. Anyway, the hardest time I ever did in my life, for the record, was in the juvenile system. Which is why I signed over my rights to my kids, to my brother-in-law and his wife, to keep them away from the butt fuckers. Because the system's crazy. I mean, it's wild. It's wild. You know what I mean? Over there, they got a place called the Raider Institute. I literally cannot tell you that they did not get me. I'll just say that. I'll say that. Anyway, horrible evil. Anyway, yeah, that's your water battery. Now, now what that looks like to do that at scale, if you look at there's a place called the Pump Back over by Salina, Oklahoma. Then there's like a lake, then Kerr Dam. So Kerr Dam is, generating electricity or whatever like that. And then when everything's going good, they pump water up to elevation. And then when they need additional flow, like say they slow the flow of the river for catchment upstream or whatever like that, or maybe they lower everything down expecting a lot of rain, and then it don't rain, they got that extra at the pump back that they can release. And then they also have GRDA that burns coal, and then the other place that burns natural gas, and the other place that burns natural gas, and the other place that we're not supposed to know about that's actually nuclear. And that's what's powering the Google mainframe in Pryor, Oklahoma. So, just little stuff. Little stuff, not major, everything you need to live. Very strategic target. They're definitely going to nuke that place for sure. And that, in the nuclear war, we're going to shift gears, I'll shut up. In the nuclear war, you either want to just die instantly, or be far enough away that you can live, and you're going to want to, establish your caveman outpost and live there from now until the apocalypse. But if you're in the middle, like me, I'm sat here driving around like a fucking idiot, right, handing out Bibles and stuff, making my way the only way I know how, follow Jesus. I'm going to die. I'm going to die doing this. I'll be driving around and die more than likely. You know what I'm saying? I just drove across DFW twice. I'm going to drive up here right by Pryor, Oklahoma, and freaking, and then I'm going to St. Louis. So, if there's a nuclear holocaust, if I don't die in the flash, the chances of me making it through the radioactive dust and all that kind of stuff is next to zero. It really is. Now, between my wife's stubbornness to not move, and then my desire to spread the Bibles, and then the overlap of pay for my house, and then being a truck driver keeps me from smoking weed. So I have a certain sobriety. And then being alone in the truck, I'm set apart from everything except YouTube. So I'm able to talk to you tubers and be like, hey, this is what I see, this is what is up. I feel like this is on my heart to whatever degree. Share what I can. And then if they shadow ban me, it's great because only the people that need to hear it are actually listening. So I can just say all this stuff that totally applies to everybody. You know what I mean? At one point in a previous life, a previous time in this life, I should say, which there's the exit to go to my house right there. There was a time where, there was some obvious surveillance by not sure exactly who, some agency, we'll say that. And I see the dude, he's in a tree. I know he's in the tree. I can see him right there just clear as day. And he didn't have, he told him himself because that red dot fucking blinked. I seen it blink. That's how I knew to go to that tree. And I just looked up at him. I was like, bro, I seen you. I went back in there and told them that, the people in the woods. I called them the people in the woods. Hey, the people in the woods are out here. You know what I mean? And, which it was totally obvious. It was a surveillance team from some type of police. And, which is funnier than hell because, they were trying to bust the neighbors because they're kind of tweaker acting or whatever like that, but they were really just rednecks stealing garbage. Like, they were taking garbage and recycling it to try to like buy more beer. That's what was actually happening. You know what I mean? And then like they were related to real tweakers, and those people were all like actually, you know, heavy in the game type of deal. But they literally lived in town next to the police station. So like, there's like this joke about, you know, they were doing dirt next to the police station. That's not a fable. That's a stereotype. Like if the local police department of anywhere USA would just make about a 1 mile circle on the map and just logically think about every place. Okay, so and so lives here. What's the chances that they're, you know, felonious activity here? You know, are they a pervert? Are they a terrorist? Are they a meth lab? I mean, what's going on? You know what I mean? It's like, no, that guy's the bus driver, and he's got like, he raises sheep and stuff. We've known him for 100 years. Well, he's probably not that house. What about the one next to it? Or whatever. And as you draw in closer to the police station, you'll probably find 5 to 15 nefarious situations. And I know you got the things where you can listen to the damn phone, so like, you know, if they're suspect, then just like post up and listen to what they're saying on the phone. Duh. I mean, it's not even that hard. Like, really. Like, that is literally off the top of my head. Like, I've never considered doing that in my life until like right now. We just heard that reasoning and line of thought together. You know, like, bro, I don't know why my person thinking somewhere like just, dude, the amount of shit I don't say, it's got to be like, it's like 9 to 1. It's like 9 to 1 at least. And I'm talking about a lot of stuff, but it's about a 9 to 1 ratio. Anyways, so I see the dude in the tree, and like, walk back in there. I'm like, hey, the people in the woods are out here. Do you want me to show you? Like, get a flashlight and come out here, and I'll show you the people in the woods. They're like, yeah, ha, 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 sure, Skip, ha, 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 sure. I walked up there. I walked up to the tree, and I looked up at the guy, and I said, hey, man, don't worry about it. I just told them that you're here, and they won't even come out here and look. They all know you're here. They think it's bullshit, though. And I went on about my business. You know what I mean? And then they all got hipped up. Imagine that. Anyway, that's a whole other story there. But Alabama, there were several episodes with the people in the woods. And oh man, they were so sloppy, dude. Like, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. I hope they've got a lot of training since then. You know what I mean? Like, they did not have BB gun wars with the Indians. They did not. So, pro tip: if you're the only white dude and you're having a BB gun war with a bunch of Indians, they're all going to shoot you. Trust me on this one. You're not going to go out there in the woods. 16 kids, everybody's got a BB gun. They're all Indian and you're white. You're not going out there for, you know, a free-for-all. Everybody's against everybody. They're all against you. Ask me how I know. And play your cards right, you can win. And, yeah. So anyways, that's a water battery. I'm going to shut up now. Rock hill. Go get them.